Welcome to our Africa Tech segment. Self-driving cars are vehicles that combine sensors and softwares to control, navigate and drive. These self-driving cars or trucks do not require the services of human drivers to take control to safely operate. Though still in early stages, the soon-to-be transport system is becoming common, and some automakers and technology companies have, however, begun developing various autonomous technologies. Here in the studio with us is Tunde Badmus, a digital strategist, to discuss this innovation. Hello, Tunde. Can you give us an update on this innovation in the automobile industry?
Okay, so people think when you talk about self-driving, it's like big grammar and all of that, but it is not. It is something that we are used to already, right? It's just that it's not fully fledged in operation. So I'll give you a case scenario. So for example, your assisted driving, your assisted parking, it's an example of a self-driving, mechanism. We already use it, but it's not really fully integrated into our cars. So that's why people will think, oh, self-driving is something totally new. And I'll give you a background story. So the first self-driving car that was released was in 1930 by General Motors. So General Motors, visualized how humans would drive in another 50 years, and they did a good job at that, because at this time there was no AI, there was no internet, there was nothing, and they were able to create something like that. Though the technology died afterwards, not until of recent that brands like Toyota released in far back as 2007. They called it Toyota Prius, So that was when, self-driving cars came.
Why did it die back then?
Okay, so one, cost was very high at that point in time. And when it was created in the US, people that lived in cities decided to go for, the other kind of car, the combustion engines, because it's easier to get fuel and just move on the go, right? So at that point in time, that technology was not wasn't able to survive, the heat. So that's when it died. But right now, it's something that we need to, critically look at, because it's already adopted in the foreign countries. So whether you like it or not, sooner or later, it's coming.
So who are the major players developing these vehicles now?
So, all right. So everyone knows Tesla. Tesla is like the major player in this field. They don't even just do self-driving cars; they also do the electric cars as well, right? I already mentioned Toyota. Mercedes-Benz, they're already a major player. Audi as well. Audi, in fact, of recent released a very fantastic model. They called it the e-tron Quattro. Very fantastic. It looks like a sport car in its form, and pretty much a decent car.
Okay, so I've heard of some accidents surrounding self-driving cars. How safe are they really?
Okay, for now, we would say, because the technology is still in the initial stage, so pretty much we've seen some accidents and what have you. But trust me, as soon as we go on, there'll be a lot of improvements, because we all know it's run by robots and everything. So a robot definitely would not necessarily know how the hand gesture of human beings. We are used to, when you want to turn, you like, hey, you put out your hand. Robots are not used to that, and all of that. But I'm sure the developers will be able to come up with better technology for those robots to understand the human nature.
Tunde Badmus, digital strategist. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. As we end the program today, South Africa's roving Bantu Kitchen is offering a selection of homemade dishes influenced by different African cuisines and ingredients. The owner, Sifoso Nutuli, says he is not just running a restaurant, but a living museum exhibiting what it is to be South African, the past and present, through food and music. Take a look.
At Johannesburg's roving Bantu Kitchen, Sifiso Ntuli is cooking up a mix of traditional food and cultural experience. His kitchen is a small, peculiar community spot with live music that captures the soul of the city. Ntuli's specialties are inspired by a variety of Pan-African dishes, including tripe, sheep's head and flatbreads. but with a twist.
So you spend a good part of 4 to 5 hours doing trial, yeah? But guess what? Prawns that take 5 minutes to cook, they're much more expensive than tried. Do you see the politics there? So but because prawns are the acceptable. I remember the first time I ate prawns as a teenager. Bottom feeders. I wanted to throw up. But today, when I'm around my friends, I chill and I eat prawns like it's always been. And really.
Ntuli says he wants to break barriers by making his kitchen, social space and conversations about history accessible and desirable to everyone. The restaurant's red room is covered with old political newspaper headlines, vintage ornaments, and small tables pressed against each other. The room is often filled with people of all races and nationalities, and Ntuli says his decor is designed to spark conversations between them.
One thing that really kind of struck me is the crockery, the cups and the plates. Like, I remember these from my childhood, but you know, I grew up in the 1980s, middle of apartheid. Like, these were the sort of plates that the gardener and the maid ate off, which, just saying it, feels really weird and a little bit embarrassing. But it feels real, and it feels raw, and there's no pretense. And the beer is delicious. I've never had this Soweto Gold, but I had to. I'm not going to order some European beer when there's something from Soweto. And everything about this is a new experience for me.
The Roving Bantu Kitchen is located in Brixton, a former bastion of white oppression during apartheid that is transforming to bridge a historical divide between races, the rich and the poor.
That's it on the program. Thanks for watching. I'm Teniola Shavueli.